live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, Lakers trying to make trades. Lakers are, preaching patience, right? And I get it. Again, like you want to have a level of patience. Lakers have kind of one shot at this, right? They don't really have the luxury of, they're not in like a situation like the Thunder where it's like, hey, if you make a bad gamble or two, like they did with, as you saw with Gordon Hayward, who just retired, by the way. Something like that. It's one of those things where it's like, you can kind of take that L and keep striving, keep moving forward. Can't really do that with the Lakers because they're very limited on just the assets that they have via trade, but we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, I just wanted to come on, do this live stream. I haven't done a live stream in a while. Like even the last live stream I did was at the Summer League games. So it's been a while since we just sat down, talked, had a fun time. So let's dive into it and get into it, answer questions, do all the fun stuff. What's going on, Jack? Appreciate you being here. Great House is keen. What's going on? Appreciate you. Gordon, how are you? Appreciate you. Nothing. We here. Let's talk. Let's have some fun. I think Lakers can win an NBA Cup again. Hey, look, I mean, they won it last year. People don't think they win it last year. I don't think that they're going to prioritize that like they did last year. Like last year, that was a priority. Like the Lakers wanted to win that. LeBron wanted to win that. So it was one of those things where the Lakers really, they kind of went all in on that, right? Because LeBron wanted to be the first one to ever do that, right? And so they were able to do it. But this year, I think Lakers are going to go into it a little more cautiously, right? I think hey, if guys are a little nicked up, I think they'll sit as opposed to last year they were playing type thing. So, but you never know, right? Like I said, I mean, I don't think it's impossible to see them win it again. Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams, you will do this trade. Yeah, I mean, if we could get Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams, I'd take it. Solves your center problem, solves your wing depth. To me, it all just boils down to cost. I still wouldn't do 2 first for Grant and Robert Williams just because Robert Williams' injury history, right? Like, can the guy play more than 40 games? Like the guy's like notorious for just being unhealthy. Now, if you could get Jeremy Grant and Robert Williams for like a first and like a pick swap, maybe, or like a first in a couple seconds, I would definitely do that all day. At the end of the day, it comes down to cost. Like, what is the cost of doing business? What is the cost of that type of trade? Yes, patience is very important. I know it's hard. I know it's frustrating, right? We're all kind of like, come on, can we get something done? Right? But patience is everything, right? Like you got kind of one shot at this, right? Like the Lakers don't have talking about earlier, like the Lakers don't have, 20 first round picks to work with where it's like, if they, you trade for Jeremy Grant, you miss, it's not the end of the world, right? It's like, you can bounce back from that. No, like the Lakers have one chance here, right? Like they probably need 2 trades, but you can't go all in on one move that is not going to give you the significant. Like if we were a Jeremy Grant away from winning a championship, give whatever you have to give up to go get him. But we're not. You need Jeremy Grant and, right? If you can get Jeremy Grant and like a Walker Kessler, or Jeremy Grant and a Wendell Carter Jr. or something like that. Now I think we're talking potential championships. Mick, what's going on with Lakers making a trade? Still no movement. Look, I've talked about it before. Chances are if a trade does get done, which you never really know, but if a trade does get done, it'll be closer to training camp. So you're talking late September, right? That's probably when, if a trade goes down, it's when if I had to like give you a time frame for it, it's there. It's closer to that. I don't, right now, teams aren't in a rush. And, even a team like the Blazers, right? They have no incentive to get it done right now. The Lakers are probably not going anywhere, right? Best case scenario is a team decides, you know what, maybe Jeremy Grant is what we want, right? Or Lauri Markkanen, for example. You have a couple teams trying to go and get Lauri Markkanen. If Lauri Markkanen ends up signing a new extension with the Jazz, do some of those teams go, hey, maybe we should go get Jeremy Grant? And now, so all these teams, the Nets, the Blazers, the Raptors, all the teams you keep hearing linked to the Lakers, all those teams are going to take their time. All those teams none of them are in a hurry. None of them are in a rush. Nothing's changing in the next week or so. And like I said, all of the potential trade options are still out there. They're all still there, right? There hasn't really been trades, right? There was the Mikal Bridges trade. That was just a crazy outlier. Then the only real trade was which, I mean, it was a real trade, not in quotes, but was the DeJounte Murray trade. The DeJounte Murray trade was that first real trade. And it was does that kind of start this whirlwind of trades happening? And it didn't. All the trade, Klay Thompson, DeMar DeRozan, all these guys, they were all sign-in trades. They were all free agents that wanted more money. So they worked out a sign-in trade. We haven't gotten that just traditional, I give you these guys, you give me these guys type of trade. So it's a good sign that there's not all these trades happening, because, if everyone was going off and doing all these trades and the Lakers are just sitting on their thumbs, then it becomes a little bit of the Lakers might be in trouble here. But XRP, Bradley, what's going on? Patience. They ain't done nothing at all. The whole league has made moves. Every team but three? I think it's the Heat, the Lakers, and I don't remember who the other team was off the top of my head. All made moves except for the Lakers. But again, there's a lot can change. Now, we were in this position, a year and a half ago? And we thought nothing was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, patience led to a trade that led us to the conference finals. I know it's frustrating. I know it's difficult. But again, I know it's, people joke, it's you're just the mantra. It's this, you're just, trying to talk yourself into it. But it's the truth. There is a lot of time between now and October, right? When the season begins. A lot can happen. A lot can change quickly too. I know it's frustrating. It's hard. We all want something to get done, but patience is a definite virtue, right? Scotty, Zack LaVine. I'm still in the camp of Zack LaVine. I am big on Zack LaVine. I think Zack LaVine solves a lot of your problems. I think you could potentially get more assets in the deal, even if it is seconds. That's just more stuff that you can stack, and you don't have to give up stuff. So you could go and trade for Zack LaVine and then go and trade for, a Walker Kessler, or go trade for a Wendell Carter Jr., because Wendell Carter's only making he's only making $13 million, something like that, top of my head. So you could still potentially go pull off something like that. But look, I'm in the camp of a Zack LaVine trade. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think you could clear off roster spots, clear off some salary, still have your assets to then go leverage and make another trade. I think you get a real upgrade, scorer, one of the best catch and shoot shooters in the league. I'm very big on Zack LaVine. What's going on, Jordan? Appreciate you. Ethan, appreciate you being here. Just Darren. Hey, I absolutely love the show. Thank you. I appreciate you. What underrated trade do you think the Lakers can make? My underrated trade idea is D'Lo, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and a first for Kuz, and Rui Gabe for Brown and Kelly in 2 seconds. Yeah, well, first off, again, thank you. I really do appreciate it. Secondly, I was talking about, I actually have a list of, it's on my thing over there charging. I have a list of kind of ideas that I want to dive into at some point. Because again, I know not everyone likes the trade stuff. I know not everyone likes the trade rumor stuff and all that stuff. But again, what else is there to talk about right now? It's not like there's all this news going on. And I can't talk about stuff that doesn't exist. And believe me, I want to break down players. I know a lot of people really like when I go in depth and really break down players and their fit and what I think that they can do and kind of give the projections. But it's hard to do that right now. When I do that, I spend a couple hours on that video, and then a week later they're traded, and it's oh, there that goes. So definitely going to do those videos, but once we get closer to training camp. But I have a whole list of kind of combinations that I'd like to like explore and talk about. Because again, at the end of the day, it's YouTube, it's entertainment. We're all having fun. I'm not some reporter. I'm not an insider, even though a lot of people seem to think I am. I'm really not. I'm just a fan that just is blessed enough to have people that want to listen to me talk. But as far as the like underrated trades, like I really like the Toronto idea that I threw out earlier, where you get like Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk type thing. I wouldn't like. I've thrown out like Nick Richards. Like I like the idea of like going and getting a Nick Richards. They have a couple young centers, so that might be a potential option. The Brooklyn Nets are another team. Like, do you go and try to get back Dennis Schroeder? Try to get back Schroeder and Cam Johnson, right? Like, you know, I like Gabe Vincent better fit wise, and I think he's a little more consistent. Where Schroeder can be really hot and cold. You know, one game he's giving you 20 and he's like 5 of 7 from 3. And the next game he's giving you like 2 and he's like 1 of 11. And you're like, dude, what is going on? But the upside is higher with Schroeder and he's familiar with LeBron. He's familiar with AD. So I wouldn't hate trying to go do something like that. Like we really need like 3 things. We need another big man. I don't think we need like, you know, Embiid, but I think we need like a serviceable big that can come in, fill in quality starting minutes for like if AD misses a game or whatever, or if LeBron misses a game, slide AD to the 4, bring in whoever that is at the 5, serviceable center. And then I think you need a legit 3-and-D wing and a point of attack. So anything like that could get you a combination of those things I really like. That's why I like the idea of like going and getting, can you get Bruce Brown and, Cam Johnson, something like that. But like another like random name that I threw out like Jakob Poeltl earlier today. I think him, but would he want to play a backup role is another question. Like, is he somebody that wants to play backup? But yeah, I mean, Kuz, I don't mind Kuz. They just want too much for him. And I don't really think, like Washington, I don't think is a team that wants to necessarily get rid of him. Like I think that they want, like Portland wants to get rid of Jeremy Grant. So that's why I believe at some point their price is going to drop. Kyle Kuzma, I don't think that they want to get rid of Cruz. I don't think they want to get rid of Kuz. I think that if the right deal is there, they will. Right? Like if somebody's willing to overpay, they'll trade him. But I don't think, like, I don't necessarily think that they'll lower their ask for Kuz. But I do think Rui Gabe for Brown and Kelly, I think could work. I'd love to see something like that. But yeah, great question. Appreciate you. Do you think we really need to make a trade? Yes. If we want to be a bona fide contender, yes. Is it something that I think like we have no hope, no shot if the Lakers don't? No. Right? I think the Lakers, and look, I've said this, I think the Lakers are in that like 5 to 7 range right now. As currently constructed, I think that they have a real shot at the top 5. I mean, look at it like this. If it wasn't for injuries, or let's take the injuries out of the equation because injuries happen, right? Let's just look at just the season as a whole. If it wasn't for that losing 10 out of 13 games, right? The Lakers would have been a top 4 seed last year. They would have been, right? If they won 5 out of those 10 games they lost, they're the 4th seed. So to think that they can't be a top 4 or 5 seed this year, I don't think is crazy. Like people act like that's like, a lot of people act like the Lakers won 37 games last year. They won 47 games. Any normal season that would have gotten you probably the 3 seed, right? But like, it's just so tight in the West, which I don't think is going to change. I think it's going to continue to be very tight in the West. But I do think that the Lakers are there. I don't think anyone would be shocked if the Lakers won a championship. The consensus last year was like, if they don't play Denver or they beat Denver, they probably are in the finals. And so how do we go from even like Laker haters thinking like, man, as long as they don't play Denver, they're going to the finals. How do we go from that with now we got hopefully healthier and a better coach to we're not even going to be in the play-in. Like it doesn't make sense. Like no one got that much better. right? Like, yes, Grizzlies will be better next year, but we've seen how they match up against us. Like, I think we can beat them. You have Sacramento. I don't know if they got better. They don't. They didn't. The last thing they needed was another isolation scorer, right? The reason he made sense for the Lakers, and I still was concerned with DeMar's fit. I talked about it. I still said, like, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be some struggle. But the difference is that the Lakers don't have anybody like DeMar. The Sacramento Kings have De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk. They needed more size and perimeter defense, not another isolation scorer, right? So I don't know, like, I don't know how much better they are. I'm not saying that they won't be. I just don't, like, where, how much better. And then, you know, like Pelicans, they may, if they're just swapping DeJounte for Ingram, I think it makes them slightly better, but I don't think it makes them that much better. Now, if Ingram buys in, then yeah, I think that they could be tough. But Ingram wants out. They want to trade him. That's probably going to be dysfunctional this year. Also, can Zion and Ingram stay healthy? Like, there's a lot of questions with that. The Mavs, like, how much better does Clay make the Mavs? I even said if we got the Lakers that I thought that, yes, it makes us better, but how much, right? What Clay are we getting? Also defensively, right? Dallas's offense they ran last year makes zero sense for Clay. Now, could they change and adjust their offense? Sure, right? So maybe they do make Clay work. But if it's just, you got to keep in mind, Luka and Kyrie Luka was number 1, Kyrie was number 4 in the league last year in isolation. Their entire offense is Kyrie and Luka dominating the basketball and drives and kicks, right? Or taking shots, right? So again, like, no, Denver got worse. Clippers got worse, right? Like, so again, I don't think it's far-fetched to think that the Lakers are a top 5 seed. But as far as, like, if we want to be that true, like, we're in that conversation with the top, 3 to 5 teams, yes, we need a trade. Any insight to the trade package asking price for Bulls for LaVine for Lakers specifically? No. So again, I just want to make clear, I'm not an insider, not a reporter, but from everything that I've seen, the Lakers aren't even necessarily pursuing LaVine from, like, what I've gathered. Like, there was at the trade deadline a lot of conversations about it, and it looked like they were genuinely exploring that. And then there was brief kind of reports to start the offseason of, like, hey, LaVine could potentially be a target. But that was basically it. Like, a lot of the LaVine stuff has been myself and other Laker fans kind of going like, hey, what do you think about Zack LaVine? How about Zack LaVine? Supposedly they want to just unload LaVine. Like, they're willing to just basically swap salaries at this point. Supposedly, originally they were going to give up a first, but apparently that report was inaccurate. If the Lakers were to do a LaVine trade, it would just be a salary match. So it would just be kind of working out. You'd have to do something like D'Lo, Rui, and like Gabe Vincent would probably be going out for Zack LaVine. So you send those 3 out for Zack LaVine. Maybe you throw in like a Jalen Hood-Schifino just to kind of clear some extra salary. Because if you did, because what, Rui talking 17, D'Lo's 18.6, so talking 35, and then Gabe Vincent would be what, 46. You'd clear an extra like $3 million off, throw in Jalen Hood-Schifino. Now you freed up $5 million in cap space, because you got to keep in mind Lakers are only $45,000 from the second apron. They aggregate salaries. Now they're hard cap at the second apron, and they have to fill out a roster. So they basically could do something like a 3-for-1 swap for LaVine, bring in Zack LaVine, and then have clear like $5 million off their books to maybe sign a guy at the taxpayer mid-level, which I don't know who that is right now. Maybe it's like Okaro, Isaac Okaro. I actually like him. I think he makes some sense, and he's young. But otherwise, then, you're bringing in one of your like two-way guys just to kind of, keep that salary shedded. So that way, if you need to pull off a trade later or something. So, but as far as like LaVine, like, is there like news going around? No, there just hasn't really been anything in particular, which is why I haven't talked about LaVine as much as I want to, because I actually really like LaVine. I try to just stick to the stuff that's in the ether. What do you think about Kuz and Brogdon package? What would it take, and would you give a first? Um, I like Brogdon a lot. Problem with Brogdon is, again, like, health, right? Like, if you're swapping D'Lo for Brogdon, I'd rather just keep D'Lo because he's been more reliable. He's been excellent shooting the basketball, and he's the better playmaker. Brogdon, when he's healthy, is the better defensive guy, right? And so, like, I don't hate it. I think that there's an argument either way. I think it depends. I mean, Brogdon makes more sense alongside Austin Reaves. So, like, if you're going to go if you're going to go with like Reaves, Brogdon does make more sense. But I just, again, like, talk about another guy that only plays like 40 games a year, right? And it's like, and he's making a pretty, I mean, you're talking between those two is what, like 40, off the top of my head, like 43 million, something like that. It might even be more than that. So, I mean, you're trading 4 players, basically 3 players, 4 players to go get those two. I just, would I give up? Like, I'd give up, like, for Kuz, yeah. Like, if you could get both for a first, sure. I just, again, like, can Brogdon stay? If Brogdon can stay healthy, yes. It makes a lot of, like, if Brogdon can give me 65 games, let's go. Right? Like, but I don't know. I don't know if he can. Can he, is the question. Trade Max Christie, Vincent Hood, and D'Lo. I personally would not trade Max Christie. For those that have been in live streams long enough, know how I feel about Max Christie. I think Max Christie could be great. I'm not necessarily saying like top 5 player in the league or anything like that, but as like, even just like as a legit 2-way 3-and-D guy, I think he's great. I mean, he already shoots 40% on catch and shoot threes and is one of our best on-ball defenders. If you remove Jared Vanderbilt, Max Christie might be our best on-ball defender. Like, he's good. And he's still only 21 years old. Like, can't get rid of Max Christie. Plus, they just signed him, so they wouldn't be able to trade him till like December 15th. Gabe Vincent, I still like the idea of Gabe Vincent on this team, but you got to give up something to get something. Jalen Hood-Schifino, I've been a huge defender of Jalen Hood-Schifino. Not because of necessarily anything in particular. I just, again, we haven't seen enough to know whether he's good or not. The only thing we know is that he's better than everybody in the G League. Like, I mean, they dude averaged what, like 22, 5, and 8 or something like that, or 22, 5, and 6, something like that. So, D'Lo, you're probably going to have to trade him regardless. Again, if the right, I don't believe anybody is untradeable. Right? No, I mean, there's only like 3 or 4 guys in the entire league that are truly untradeable. Right? So I'm not one of those people that are going to be like, oh, you can't trade Max Christie. But I don't think you like to just include him as salary filler for like Jeremy Grant or something. No. But again, it depends on what the package is. Give me Dorian Finney-Smith and the Aaron Sharp package. It's cheaper and they're healthier. I wouldn't mind that at all. Dorian Finney-Smith and Aaron Sharp. Didn't Sharp just get like a new extension? If I'm not mistaken, didn't he just sign a new deal? Which means that they wouldn't be able to trade him anytime soon. I could be thinking of somebody else, but I think Sharp got a new contract. But if you could pull that off, I am with it. Look, I've talked a lot about Dorian Finney-Smith since basically the last trade deadline. What about Kelly Olynyk? Made a video on the Toronto Raptors earlier today. If you haven't seen that video, go check that out after the live stream. But I talked about, maybe going and getting Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk. Can you get those two for like, a burst in a second or a couple seconds? Because Kelly Olynyk isn't worth a first. Bruce Brown, I'd kind of be reluctant to give a first up for too. But if you get both for a first, I don't hate that idea. Plus, Kelly Olynyk and Bruce Brown, they're both on Bruce Brown's overpaid, but he's expiring. And then you can give him a new contract next year at like what he was going to sign with the Lakers for, which was Gabe Vincent's money. So you're talking like $11 million a year. Let's say you bump him up to like 15. You still clear like $8 million off your cap sheets next year. And then if LeBron's willing to restructure his deal, you may be able to get like a significant free agent or two in a much better free agency market. So I think if you can get I think Kelly Olynyk makes a lot of sense. True 7-footer, can stretch the floor, play the 4, play the 5. he's not like the ideal center for like, banging with Jokic and stuff, but he is physical. He's not shy. Right. I don't mind it at all. It just cost. But Kelly Olynyk, I mean, talk about a real big that stretches the floor. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Yeah, personally, I don't think you trade Max Christie. Let's see. If they can get Robert Williams, they should only play him 18 to 25 minutes a game. That will help keep him fresh. That's my hope. My hope is that, like, if you were to get Robert Williams, because you wouldn't need him as significantly as some of these other teams might, I think that maybe he can stay healthier. But, I mean, even Boston tried to do that. Even Boston tried to – oh, whoops. Unplug my little thing. Sorry. Even Boston tried to like cut his minutes down to like 15 a game, and he still got hurt. So, I mean, it might just be, some guys they just have that injury bug. But yeah, I mean, if you could get him, you only need him 15 to 20 minutes a game. So can he come in, slot in, and rebound, block shots? I mean, him alongside Anthony Davis would be beautiful. Like, those two would be great together. So we'll see. To me, an Austin Reaves trade could make for a win now move to make us a contender. Depends on what it is. Look, I've said numerous times, like, I think that the Lakers should have traded. Ow, your nails hurt. Your nails hurt. I think Austin Reaves for DeJounte Murray should have happened. I think that they should have traded for DeJounte Murray, personally. But the problem is the Lakers just value him like he's prime Michael Jordan, and it drives me crazy. Look, I don't think Austin Reaves is good. Right? Even with his season last season, like, people act like he was just a total bum trash. Like, he still averaged 16, 5 and 5 or something, or 16, 4 and 5. Right? It's just, again, like, he was just a bit disappointing. Like, the consistency was an issue last year. If he can get more consistent, but I don't think you just trade Austin Reaves. Like, if a deal's there, like, if you could get the right move, I think you'd do it. Right? If you could basically restructure your roster for like a win now type thing, then I think you do it. But yeah, I think the right move has to be there. Hey, chill. There you go. Sorry, my puppy's right here, and she's like trying to jump up. Here, you want to say hi to the world? Say hi. Say hello. Look over there. Look that way. No, over here. Look this way. This way. There you go. Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to the world. All right, here. Sit here. You can sit here. You're fine. You're okay. Hey, you can sit here. Just sit here. There you go. Thank you. There you go. I need to cut your nails. Your nails are getting long, and it hurts. I like our roster. We just need another big to get AD some help. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, like, the only way to really do that right now is via a trade. Like, you'd have to do some type of trade to get that done. Hey, maybe it's Valanciunas later on down the road. No, not the microphone. Thank you, baby. Puppy. She's a good puppy. She's such a good dog. She really is. She's a good doggy. But now, ever since you guys wanted to see her that one live stream, every time I do a live stream, she thinks it's her 15 minutes of fame. Every time. She doesn't bug me when I'm recording videos, which I think is funny. Like, she just chills. Like, sometimes you can hear her in the background, like, chewing on stuff. But, like, yeah, like, she leaves me alone when I'm doing videos. But every time I'm on a live stream now, she just, like, jumps up and just starts trying to be a part of the live stream. But here, lay down. Go. Sit. Let me finish this. Good doggy. Let's see. What else? Sorry, trying to get past the nonsense. How about Seawood plus picks for Kessler or dump Jacks and seconds for Bruno? Well, Bruno got waived. Oh no, you just unplugged my thing. Thank you. Bruno just got waived, or you did say claimed off of waivers. We need a big bruising fight. So I have a whole video I recorded on AIS The Lakers Show because I had several people ask me to break down Bruno. So that'll be up tomorrow. Post that tomorrow morning over on AIS The Lakers Show. That video is already done and scheduled. But I don't, spoiler alert, I don't think Bruno solves the Lakers' problem. I mean, as like a development big off the bench, I don't mind that. But he's not. He's 6'9" without shoes. He's 6'10" with shoes, and he's 240. Like, I don't know if he really is the guy that you want against Jokic. I wouldn't mind Seawood and picks for Kessler, but like, what does it cost? Like, how many picks? Like, how does that work? Is the question. Like, and is Utah even that serious about trading Kessler? They've been kind of like, we heard the initial reports, and then like the Knicks made an offer for him, and then that was it. Like, we haven't heard anything since. So I say go for Grant and Ayton. Can that be done? Can it be? Yes. Will it be? That's tough, because you're talking like 50 something million in salary. Lakers would have to send out like 60 million total because they can't take back more. Is it possible? Yes. What will it cost though? Because I mean, you're talking, they want 2 firsts just for Grant. What do they want for Ayton too? But if you could get both, that would be magical. AZ Sports coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. Thank you for responding. Good stuff. And you inspire me as a fellow creator. Awesome. Thank you. Seriously. It's very kind. LaVine, Kessler put us in chip contention. Move AR, point guard, 2 point guard is underrated. So yeah, first off, again, thank you for super chat. Thank you for your kind words. Seriously. Look, I've said it a million times. I think everyone should have a YouTube channel, right? I do. I just think it's a great outlet, great way to just escape and explore and stuff. So keep grinding. It's a lot of work. I'll tell you that, especially if you want to grow, like really grow. And it's not just like, a fun thing on the side. So grind. That's what I'll tell you. Grind, and consistency. YouTube's a big stickler about consistency. But yeah, LaVine and Kessler, I'm with you. Genuinely, I am right there with you. I think LaVine and Kessler genuinely put us in contention. I think we're one of the top 3 teams in the league at that point. And I think we have like a real shot at winning a chip. Health obviously would be a bit of a concern, but I mean, you can make that argument for most teams. So I think you do it. At that point, yeah, you could move AR to point guard. I have my reservations of, it's my chair. That's why my chair's on the thing. I thought it was the dog, but it's the chair. Let me move this. Sorry, give me a second. Let me move this closer so it stops doing that. My chair's on the cord. I don't want to have to move my whole thing. My concern with AR at point guard, though, is he's struggled. Like, Lakers, based on the offense that JJ Redick wants to run, you kind of only need an initiator, which Austin Reaves is capable of doing. He can initiate, because the idea is like, you don't have like that traditional sense point guard bringing it up, boom, and just wheeling and dealing. It's kind of more whoever gets the ball goes and gets you into your set. That first pass kind of gets the ball rolling. Think of like Golden State and their offense, or even like things like the triangle offense, where like you don't really necessarily need a point guard. You just need somebody that can initiate the offense, and then everything's the cog. And then if you get to the point where it's like, okay, we need somebody to wheel and deal, well, you always have LeBron. You can always just default to LeBron to do that, right? So my problems with AR though is he's had his struggles bringing the ball up through contact and ball pressure. He's not good at handling ball pressure at times. And my concern, not really the regular season. I think he'd be fine in the regular season, but come playoffs, when teams start, paying attention to the details, that Austin Reaves, all of a sudden, it's like, all right, we need to pressure him full length of the court. And is he going to be able to handle that? Because it's one thing to handle the basketball in the half court. It's another thing to handle the basketball court, full 90 feet. But again, appreciate you. And I'm right there with you. I think Lakers win a chip if everyone's healthy. That's good. Murray trade at last deadline. We make final shaking my. I really wanted the Murray trade. I mean, I was pushing for that hard. First off, Shane, I didn't thank you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Seriously. But I really do think Lakers with Murray would have been. I think that they beat Denver. I do. Just because, again, I think Murray would have been more consistent than many of the other guys. But it is. The problem is they only wanted Austin Reaves. I would have traded Austin Reaves. I was big on trading Austin Reaves for him personally. I think that they made a mistake in that regard, right? Like, I know that they wanted a bona fide all-star level guy. DeJounte Murray is that. Like, I also think people forget how good DeJounte Murray was pre-Atlanta. I think he's going to be good for the Pelicans. Little questions about fit-wise with some of the guys, but we'll see how that plays out. But, I mean, if they let him just basically be the point guard, I think that they are very good. And I think the Lakers would have been very good. And you could have had him and D'Lo together, which would have been fine, right? Like, you trade Reaves, you would have had him and D'Lo. D'Lo was good in 2.5 of those games, 3 of those games. So all those games that D'Lo was good in, the Lakers win. And then I think the Lakers win a couple other games. I think with Murray, they possibly go to the finals. I'm with you. But again, appreciate you. Jeremy Grant, I'm all for it. I would like LaMelo, if only. Best thing we could do is bring Dwight back. So Dwight isn't, one, Lakers can't even sign Dwight if they wanted to. 2, Dwight's basically retired. He bought a team in Taiwan? I think he was in Taiwan. Bought a team, and then just him and a bunch of NBA players that were on the 2020 team are all spending the year there. So even if the Lakers could sign him, he's not coming. He just made a big business investment. Mark, been a long time observer. I just subscribed. Well, thank you. Seriously. To the channel. Great analysis, man. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you. Yeah, I know right now a lot of people are like, all the trade stuff. But like I said, it's just, there's only so much. I can only talk about what's available. I can only talk about what's out there. And also, I do. And plus, it's fun. Again, it's YouTube. It's fun. It's entertainment. We're here to have a good time. I'm not an insider. I'm not some, reporter or anything. I'm just a guy, just a fan, and very blessed, very thankful. And I like to talk. I like to explore. I like to do stuff, right? That's what it's about. And then when there is actual news, we'll break it down, right? Like, I just take the stuff that's out there, relay it to you, and give my opinion. And then always ask you guys for yours, because I do. I love it. I love the conversations. I love the talks. I love breaking down. Like, I can't wait to like really start breaking down the players and the game and kind of going through the season and stuff. Like, for those that have been around for, the previous years, like, I break down every game. I do all that stuff. Like, I'm excited for that. Excited to do that again, but can't really do that right now when we don't know what tomorrow brings. It's kind of hard. Like, I don't want to like start going through all the players and then it's like, oh, well, now we got a whole new roster. Like, it's like, so, but again, I appreciate you, Mark. Seriously. Thank you. Let's play Fantasy Fan. Who would you like on Team USA team to pair with LeBron and Anthony Davis on the Lakers? SC, AE, JE, or KD? Do you believe Lakers championship open this coming season? Do I think that their window's open? Yes, I do. I think, look, I don't think anyone would be shocked if the Lakers would win. Would I bet on them? No. Do I think that they're like a bona fide contender? No. Do I think that they're like, could they right matchups, get to the finals, and then once you're in the finals, trust LeBron and AD to bring it home? Absolutely. As far as players that I'd want to pair with LeBron and AD, the best win now answer is KD. Like, if we're talking about win now, it's KD. The most kind of like nostalgic, fun answer would be Steph Curry. The right answer, in my opinion, is Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards, because now, future, all of that, Anthony Edwards would be the guy. Like, I think he'd just be so much fun with LeBron and AD. I think he'd be so dynamic. He solves all of the Lakers' problems. Point of attack, defensive guy. Go give me a bucket, play on ball, play off ball, do everything. And he's got that dog in him. Like, Anthony Edwards, I think, is the correct answer. Steph Curry is the nostalgic, fun, actually may even end up being the most fun trio. KD is the best if you want to, like, if Lakers wanted to win a championship today or this season, KD is that guy. How about But what about LeBron and AD showing themselves as top 10 NBA players still, and Lakers GM refuses to make any trades to help them? It's not that he refuses. He's trying. He's on conversations. I mean, that's what all the videos I'm making around. But again, it takes two sides to make a trade, right? And right now, everyone wants to fleece the Lakers. Everybody's asking prices are insane, right? And you got to keep in mind, trades aren't happening. Like outside of the DeJounte Murray trade and then the Mikal Bridges, which was an outlier trade, everybody that's available is still available. Like everyone that was available at the trade deadline is still available, right? So why? It's because the asking prices are so high. And until teams drop the asking price, look, I mean, Rob has said himself that he wants to make a trade and that he would like to make a trade, right? Like if the trade's there, he'll take it. I mean, Rob Pelinka has made a trade every year, but I think last year was the first year, if I'm not mistaken, that he didn't make a trade. So, I mean, history with him tells you he'll make a trade. It's just, again, like, could he right now go trade 2 firsts and go get Jeremy Grant? Yes. Does that win us a championship? No. And then what is everyone going to say? Rob Pelinka is a bum. Look at this guy just traded the whole future because, for Jeremy Grant, we're not winning a chip now. And like, again, patience is everything. It's not that he refuses to make a trade. It's like, what trade is he supposed to make right now? If Portland called him right now and was like, hey, give us Rui, Gabe Vincent, Cam Reddish, and only 1 first, I believe Rob Pelinka would do it. Like everybody that's been tied to the situation have all said that, hey, if Rob Pelinka can get him for 1 first, he'll do it. Right? Like if that's on the table, they'll do it. But right now it's not. I don't think it has anything to do with the GM refusing. Again, he's made a trade every year except for last year. And I still think he should have traded Austin Reaves for DeJounte Murray. But again, I mean, he even did the Westbrook trade, which people said was impossible, right? So I don't think he's refusing. I just think there's nothing there right now, and no trade is better than a bad trade. He sells the farm. Like Jeremy Grant doesn't make us a contender. He makes us better, right? Like I think right now I said we're 5-7. I think with Jeremy Grant, we're maybe 3-5 at worst. But we're still maybe the 7th best team in the league. 6th. I don't believe we're top 5. So again, is Jeremy Grant worth selling the farm for? I don't believe so. I don't. And then now you sold the farm for Jeremy Grant and you don't win. And now if that guy does come along and is available and it's like, man, that's the guy we should have gotten. And now you can't do it because you already sold everything to go get Jeremy Grant. Now you're stuck, right? Like the Lakers they're not in the position that OKC is, where it's like, you can give up picks for Gordon Hayward and it doesn't work out and you're good, right? Lakers don't. Lakers only have 2 tradable firsts. They have pick swaps, but not the same thing as actual firsts. So what is a realistic trade you would add Austin Reaves in? I mean, look, I would have done it for DeJounte Murray. Sorry, I don't know why I blanked on that. I was going to say Zack LaVine, but DeJounte Murray. Like any significant upgrade or necessary fit. Like if like guys that are out there right now. See, the problem is like all the guys that are available now, not like you can make an argument to kind of keep Reaves over just because he has more trade value than D'Lo. D'Lo's expiring and you run the risk of him just leaving. But like if like I wouldn't, like I even said last year, I would trade Austin Reaves for Alex Caruso. Right. And some people thought I was crazy. Some people were like, absolutely not. You don't do that. And it's not like, who cares? It doesn't matter who you think is better. Alex Caruso is the better fit. Like he's what we needed. And you get to keep D'Lo. Alex Caruso alongside D'Angelo Russell is tough. Right. Like now you got that point of attack defensive guy shot 43% from 3. Right. Like something like that. Like if it was the proper fit, like I was even thinking like Bruce Brown, like would I trade Austin Reaves for Bruce Brown just because Bruce Brown is such a big fit? But I don't think I would for him. But like even like a Derek White, like obviously like a Drew Holiday, right? It doesn't even have to be a star or superstar. If it's just somebody that makes sense, that is a better fit and on par, then sure. Like I'm not against it. Tyler, you seem like an insider. I mean, I guess because of the videos. I mean, I can understand people that don't actually watch and just like look at things at first glance, being like, oh, like this guy doesn't know anything. But like, if you watch the videos, I very clearly say reports. I didn't say I report, but appreciate you as always, Pete. Jeremy Grant doesn't really solve any of our three issues. He's not a great perimeter defender or rebounder. I think we need Bruce Brown, Dennis, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith. So Jeremy Grant, I know the last year or two, he hasn't been a great perimeter defender, but historically he has been. And the last 4 years, he's been on terrible teams with no other defensive help. Like, how much can you judge him on that? Right? Like, I mean, like even look at like Jared Vanderbilt's stats before he came to the Lakers. Right? Like he was good defensively. He was very good defensively, but he wasn't like arguably best defensive player in the league good. But then he comes to the Lakers and immediately makes us one of the number one defense in the league when we traded for him. Right? Why? Because he has Anthony Davis backing him up. Right? Like if Jeremy Grant is out there with like Jackson Hayes, he's probably terrible. But Jeremy Grant out there with Anthony Davis, I think will be good defensively. Can't be much worse than Rui Hachimura is defensively. Like I know a lot of people don't want to trade Rui for Jeremy Grant. It's not about who's better, right? Because I see a lot of debates of like Rui's better, Rui's this, Rui's that. It's not what it's about. It's about the fit, right? Basketball isn't just in a vacuum. It's not just in this like, hey, you just put the 5 best players on the court and you're winning, right? Like it doesn't work like that. You need specific skill positions. It's why teams still need a point guard. It's why teams still need a center. It's why like for years, Toronto was trying to build a positionless, like everyone is 6'7" and above team, and it just didn't work, right? Because why? They didn't have those real skill positions. And Jeremy Grant he's a better fit. He's more versatile on both sides of the ball than Rui is because he just has better lateral quickness and just better quickness, period. Like Jeremy Grant is a 3. Rui Hachimura is a 4, slotted out of position having to play the 3. Right? Jeremy Grant, I know people worry about defense, but also, or not defense, rebounding, which don't get me wrong, he has not been good rebounding. He's been awful. But how much of that was a priority at other places he was at? Right? Like when nobody's asking you to really rebound, why are you going to go and rebound? You're just kind of standing out in the perimeter or take your shots, doing whatever. It's another thing when it's like, when that's a point of emphasis and, like JJ Redick wants the corners to crash, right? Well, if Jeremy Grant's in the corner, he's got to crash now, right? That's what he's out there for. So I don't know. Like look, Jeremy Grant would make us better. He would. I mean, he'd be the 3rd best player on the Lakers immediately. Even with Rui, even with everybody that's on the roster, right? Like, let's say we could just add Jeremy Grant for free right now. He would be the 3rd best player on the Lakers, right? But the problem is, what is the cost? Now, I do like Bruce Brown. I do like Dennis Schroeder. There we go. Don't know why I blanked on that. And then Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith. I do like those. Look, I wouldn't even mind if the Lakers went and got Bruce Brown and Cam Johnson or Bruce Brown and Dorian Finney-Smith. Like, go get both, right? Make that work. We need a Caruso type guy, which is why I don't mind the Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown gives you a lot of that type of stuff. The problem is just his 3-point shooting. All right, we're top 6 team in the West is not good enough. You have to be top 2 or 3 team to even have a title chance. I mean, Lakers did it as the 7 seed. Now I don't think that's ideal, but I mean, they got to the conference finals as the 7th seed. So I don't necessarily think that you have to be a top 2 or 3 seed. I just don't think that it's very like the NBA is not like how it used to be, right? Like, but I don't think the Lakers are a real contender. Like, I don't. Like, I think that, like, do they have a puncher's chance? Could they win? Sure. But is it something that I would trust? Is it something that I'd bet on? Is it something I'd count on? Absolutely not. They got to get a trade if they're going to do that. No trade's going to happen. Ty, let's be true here. Rob Pelinka will not make any moves. He will stand pat and watch the Lakers another downfall year, Tyler. I mean, I hope not. I mean, it's always a possibility. I mean, it is always a possibility. But like I said, Rob Pelinka's made a trade every year, but last year. And there was an argument not to make a trade. There was. I mean, Lakers were cruising. They were looking good. It was just kind of coaching issues, right? If it wasn't for that losing 10 out of 13 games, Lakers are probably a top 4 seed. Or they would have been a top 4. If they would have won 5 out of those 10s, they would have been a top 4 seed. So, again, I'm willing to be patient. Look, maybe he doesn't do anything. It's very possible that nothing happens. That's always a possibility. I mean, we saw that this last trade deadline. But, like I said, historically, he's done trades. He's done moves. No team wants LaVine because of his salary. You'd be bailing out the Bulls. You would be, but LaVine would just be so good alongside LaVine or LeBron and AD. What's up, Ty Bros? What's going on, Fly? Honestly, I don't know what kind of move are we going to make. I think it's going to be a move that we don't see right about now, but they've pretty much let others walk. I mean, look, it's very possible. I mean, look at not last season, but the previous season. Like Rui came out of left field. D'Lo came out of left field. Even like Mo Bamba and some of those other things kind of came out of left field. I know a lot of people like a lot of people talked about like the Jazz trade coming out of left field at that time, but it didn't. I mean, it was reported in the offseason, just had no Vanderbilt in it. So me personally, I'd rather go all in for Cam than Grant. His youth and contract, he a long-term player, and in a year, if he doesn't work out, he can be traded. I mean, yeah, I don't hate the idea of Cam Johnson. Injuries are a concern with him. Like, can he stay healthy? That's been his biggest knock, is just that. But I still think Jeremy Grant is better, but I don't think it's like he's exponentially better. And I do think you have more flexibility with him. I would explore 3-team with Orlando for Wendell and Simons. Oh, you talk about Aferne Simons. Yeah, I mean, if you could get Aferne Simons and Wendell Carter Jr., I wouldn't hate that. Again, it's just the cost. I mean, if they want 2 firsts for Jeremy Grant, what do they want for Simons? I doubt we're getting Wendell. I think the Magic are set. Our shooting bigs just has to be Wood. I mean, yeah, they could, but there is an argument given their roster. I mean, they have like 3 other centers on the roster, and they were running Jonathan Isaac at center at times. And their best lineup was actually with Banchero at the 5. So do they I wouldn't be shocked if he maybe they won't trade him now, but I wouldn't be shocked if he becomes more realistic later on down the road. Let's see. What do you think about DeAndre Hunter? I like DeAndre Hunter. I mean, 6'8", good size, played 2 through 4 essentially. Defensively, not great, and I think he's overpaid. Personally, I think I don't like his contract. I mean, it's not like astronomical, but like there's other guys for the same price, like Cam Johnson, I'd rather have than DeAndre Hunter, but I wouldn't mind Hunter. And he returns to the team that technically drafted him. I definitely think Cam Johnson would fit JJ's system better than Grant. Nets had him playing power forward, which made his value tank. It's because they don't really have a power forward. That's why Rui makes a lot of sense for them. Like, a lot of sense for them. But I mean, there is an argument for Cam Johnson. Grant is more versatile in the sense of a guy, like if you just need somebody to go get a bucket, right? Like I trust Grant more to put the ball on the floor and just go get a bucket than Cam Johnson, but there is, based on the offense that he wants to run, it wouldn't mind it. I think the Lakers should get Jeremy Grant and Rob Williams because Portland have 3 big men, and I heard that they are going to trade Jeremy Grant or Simons. Yes, supposedly they want to trade at least one of them. I mean, look, if the Lakers could get Robert Williams, I'd do that all day. Do that all day. Gaming. Man, I wish Rob actually cared about this team. I know anything can happen, but I'm expecting absolutely nothing next season because Rob doesn't care at all. If he did, he would have made a move. This is the roster. But, I mean, again, like, what move is he supposed to make? It's easy to say in a vacuum, make a move, right? Like, it's easy to say, get this trade done, right? Or get that. Like, I'd love to just be able to get on the phone and, hey, you're going to give us Jeremy Grant, and we're going to give you, Rui, Cam Reddish, and Gabe Vincent, and 2 seconds. Okay? Boom. And then hang up, and then the deal gets done. It doesn't work like that, right? It just doesn't. And that's the problem. Like, even free agency. Now, if you want to get on Rob Pelinka for giving those guys player options and stuff, that I get, right? That was silly. Don't do that because, one, either A, they're not good enough, and then they're going to opt in and you screwed yourself as they just did, or B, they're too good and they're not going to stick around anyway, so you're going to lose them regardless, right? So no matter how you shake it, it's one of those things where it's just it's a lose-lose situation. So if you want to get on him for that, yeah, terrible decision. But like beyond that, like him making a move with the roster, again, it has to do it, right? DeMar DeRozan wanted the money. He could have came and signed, right? This guy right here was willing to take a discount so some of these guys would come, and none of them came. None of them came. DeMar DeRozan wanted the bag, went and got the bag. Klay Thompson said, I didn't want to go to Lakers because I thought it'd be too close to Golden State. Ended up leaving and went to the Dallas Mavericks, right? Valanciunas signed immediately for $10 million, right? Like you can only do what's there. Like we like to think that like, hey, it's the Lakers, you come, baby, but not everyone does. Not everyone does. And not everyone is willing to play third fiddle, right? I mean, Jeremy Grant, Lakers tried to trade for Jeremy Grant several years ago, and Jeremy Grant was like, I don't want to be a third option, right? How do we know that that's still not the case? So that's my problem. I got banned from commenting for 24 hours because I was bashing Rob so much. LOL. Cannot stand it. Where? What? Who banned you? Where was that at? Let's see. Lakers need to trade D'Lo and Reaves and Vincent and Rui. Would be nice if we could get the right things. We'll wind up with Grant or LaVine. I think in the end we're going to end up with Grant. I just kind of all the information we have just kind of seems like Grant's going to eventually be the option. I just think eventually you're going to see Portland cut their price down. Let's see. The problem with the Lakers organization is organizational. They cheap out by small front office. Yeah, I mean, look, I made a whole video about this. I mean, if you want to blame anybody, it's Genie, right? Like, and like people talk about all the time, like, oh, we need to fire Rob and bring in a real GM. What GM wants to come and be told how to do their job by Genie and Kurt and Linda Rambis? Like, no, like Bob Myers isn't coming to the Lakers to go listen to Genie micromanage everything. Rob Pelinka's done like 3 trades and Genie's vetoed them. Like we should have had Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Like that was a great, to this day, there's an argument that should have been the trade. And we probably win a championship if that trade's done. And instead, and we still would have had Rui and everything else. We still could have done several of the other trades, right? Like, so it's just, again, it's like the problem is you have an owner that just because you're an owner doesn't mean you understand the game. Doesn't mean you understand how to run a organization, right? That's why 99.9% of these owners just stay out of it. That's why most of them, yes, they all get the final decision, but they hire the GM and they let the GM do their job, right? They hire a president of basketball operations and they let them do their job. And then they just run the business side of things because most of them are business people, right? So they all handle the business side. But the problem is Jeannie is handling the business side, but also dictating and controlling and listening to two people that have no idea what they're doing on how to do the job. All right. So again, it's like, if you trust Rob to do the job, then let him do the job. Stay out of it. If he makes a mistake, fire him like every other GM in the history of the league. Right? If they get X amount of opportunity, and if they mess it up, then that's it. Then you fire them and you move on. Right? I mean, even Mitch Kupchak goes, signs Lou Aldane. I mean, the guy couldn't miss for years. And then, makes that poor decision and boom, he's gone. Right? And gets replaced by Magic. I mean, also that was part of because Jim Buss or whatever. But like, my point, like, if you think he can do the job, let him do the job and leave it alone. Stay out of it. If you don't think he can do the job, then fire him and bring in somebody that you do believe can do the job and stay out of it. It's simple. But as long as you have the micromanaging and Jeannie Buss listening to everybody but the people that do this for a living, you're going to have poor results. So I've even said, like, I don't know how to properly judge Rob at times, because it's like he has his hands tied behind his back on most occasions. DeJounte is what we really need. I agree. I think that was a real, I think that was a genuine miscue by the Lakers. I think that they should have, out of everything they could have done, that was the thing that they should have done, was trade for DeJounte Murray. Let's see. We just need a bruisey center to complement AD. In my opinion, we're good as long as Van Onen, basically everybody's healthy. Yeah. All right. I'm going to power through. I've been going an hour. I'm going to power through a couple more questions and get on out of here. Keep it going. You keep most of us updated. I love the work. Well, thank you. Thank you, Ebo. Seriously, I appreciate that. I like your show. Keep up the good work. Good show talking about Lakers. Well, thank you, Chris. Seriously. Ant would be a good player to come here for the future. I would love to have Ant. If out of every player in the league right now, if I could choose one to be a Laker after LeBron and AD, it's Anthony Edwards. Over everybody. I want to see that guy in a Laker jersey. Wemby's probably going to be the best player in the league in 2-3 years. I still would want Anthony Edwards. He might be my favorite player. He probably is my favorite player. I just love watching that guy play. And I just want to see him in a Laker jersey so badly. Sorry, trying to find something to me. Grant isn't it. We shouldn't also go by what he used to be. He's not going back to that. I mean, even if you're just going off of what he is, I mean, you're talking about a legit 20-point-a-game guy that shoots 40% from three and a versatile athletic wing. So even if you're going off of just what he was the last year and the year before that, I mean, he's the third best player on the Lakers. He is. Even if you're just going off of last year. Right. So even if you're not going back at what he used to be, which, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but even if you remove, let's say you just look at last year, he'd be the third best player on the Lakers. Right? With his versatility, all of that. I mean, I don't think you sell the farm for Jeremy Grant. I think he's overpaid, not by a ton, but he's overpaid. He's probably overpaid by $6 million. I think he's overpaid. And I just think that, he's not worth 2 firsts. He's not that good. And his age, there's a lot of things that I think need to be factored in. But a center, we need Hachimura and Healthy Vando in this team, and need both young and big player. Minnesota, Dallas, Phoenix. Dallas keep this team with a center. Yeah, the problem is who's that center? Lakers need 4 players. I don't think they need that many. I think if they could get 2 legit starting rotation starting level players, I think they're a contender. I'd rather Dennis or Bruce Brown. He's cheaper. I wouldn't be mad at Dorian Finney-Smith, Dennis, and Sharp. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't be against something like that. I watch AD play alongside Bam, and I see him on the perimeter. I really want to go and win a Carter, then start Christie because that backcourt D'Lo Reaves is terrible with fast guards. Yeah, I like the idea of winning a Carter too. Do you think they will make a trade? I do. I genuinely do. I really think Grant's probably going to be the guy, just based on the recent news and just kind of the way things are trending. I think it's probably going to be him. But I think at some point Lakers will make some type of trade to do some type of upgrade. Can you save this live as so every live stream goes directly on the channel, does it automatically. So as soon as I end this live stream, it'll post on the channel as a video, and you can, if you missed anything or you wanted to start it from the beginning or something, you can watch it. I have to finish the stream though. So if you went to look right now, it's not going to be there. You'd have to rewind all the way to the beginning. But I'm going to wrap up here in probably about 5 minutes. And then after that, you'll see it post. It usually takes a minute or two, but it'll post. What about Markelle Fultz? Can't really shoot the 3-ball. Defensively and just for athleticism, I don't hate it. Also be dirt cheap, but we'd still have to pull off a trade because you have to do a trade to kind of free up cap space. So, what about Cam Johnson, Bruce Brown, and Jonas Valanciunas? I wouldn't be against that at all. Problem is it's a lot of salary you'd have to trade with multiple teams. That might make things a little difficult. Because Cam Johnson's making 22 million, something like that. And then Bruce Brown's making 23 million. And then Valanciunas is making 10. Let's call it 11 because you have to send out more. So talking 45, 56, basically have to send out 60 million in salary roughly. Because you got to clear salary so you can sign some players to fill out your roster. The true trade is with the Jazz. We can bring a 2-team young center and Kessler and exposed point guard Colin Sexton. We don't need to give the farm, take off the protection 24 and 1 pick. I mean, ideally, the problem is that will Danny Ainge do that for 1 first? I mean, he turned down 2 firsts from the Knicks, but Knicks first Knicks are a young, talented team. They're going to be very good for the next 4 to 5 years. Where Danny Ainge believes the Lakers are going to be trash once LeBron and AD leave. So, maybe he just values the picks more. But if you can do it, do it. Let's see. Leon. Well said, Tyler. Well explained. That's the reason I love to watch your videos and stop following Lakers Nation. A very different opinion and perspective. Well, I appreciate you. Look, I'm always open to everybody's opinions. That's why I always pass the question on to everybody, right? We're on all the time, right? I love hearing and having genuine conversations. I love hearing everybody's different perspectives. And look, I know Laker Nation is very different from me. A lot of people are fans of both. I like Laker Nation. I think, Trevor and them are fantastic. But I do understand that we all we have very different opinions, very different perspectives on things and stuff like that. So I get it, but I appreciate you. Thank you. And I try to give as good of explanation and breakdown as possible. I see Grant being a big disappointment if they end up trading for him. I don't know why, but I have a Westbrook feel to it. I don't think that necessarily like I think people need to have expectations. Like if people think Jeremy Grant's going to come and be a 20-point a game star, then no, yeah, you're going to be very disappointed. But if you keep it within realism, where it's like he is a 6'7", 6'8", versatile wing that can hopefully get back to being at least serviceable defensively and go give you 15 a game, then I think you're going to be very happy. But if you're somebody that's like, oh, like I need Jeremy Grant to be Jared Vanderbilt defensively and 20 points a game offensively, then you're going to be disappointed. I've ruined the Lakers for years. I still think the Lakers will be fine, right? Like even if the Lakers trade all the picks and stuff, like I still think they'll be like somebody is going to come. It's still the Lakers. It's still Los Angeles, right? It's just like who wants to come and be a third? Like let's say Devin Booker becomes available. Let's say he becomes a free agent. He's not coming to Lakers to be a third star. But if LeBron isn't there, he might. And it's not because like, oh, he doesn't want to play with LeBron. It's because, again, it's like I could go there and be the star, or I could go there and be the third star. Like, so again, it's just, I think once we get through this era, I think, it might be a year or two. Right? But I mean, look, I'm old enough to remember when Kobe was retiring and people were screaming like, oh, Lakers are done. They're never going to get another star. It's a wrap. And 2 years later, LeBron becomes a Laker. And then the following year we get AD and we win a championship. Giannis is coming. One realistic trade you think before you go. I really think Jeremy Grant is probably going to be, they're going to get a wing. I'll put it like that. They're going to get either Cam Johnson, Jeremy Grant, or like a Bruce Brown or something. One of these teams is going to drop their price. It's just which team is that. I think it'll probably be Portland. Because I think once we get into training camp, I think Portland's going to be like, we really don't want to have Jeremy Grant. Right? Like because again, they just traded for a guy that plays his position and is 23 years old. Like, so again, I think if I had to put my money on a trade, it would be probably Jeremy Grant. And then I think that there's a small, maybe not necessarily during the offseason, but I think that there will be at least a small, like, oh, we just got this guy type trade, right? Maybe it's for, a Nick Richards or something like that, right? Like some a center that we just didn't see coming. But I think realistic trade, I think Jeremy Grant will ultimately be a Laker. Again, could be wrong. Been wrong before, but I'm pretty confident that's probably going to be the case. All right. Here I got let me power through these last questions and I'm going to get on out of here. Zach and Craig from the Bulls, Kessler from Utah, only give up one pick. I would do that. Well, probably have to give up more than one pick for Kessler, but yes, if you could get Zack LaVine and Torrey Craig, do that all day. I have a question. Why can't the Lakers waive a player? They can. They just still count towards the cap. And the Lakers only have $45,000 from the thing. So, Lakers could technically waive Cam Reddish, but they can't sign anybody because the money still counts towards the cap. So it's not like if you waive, because all the contracts are guaranteed. Right? You usually see guys, they'll waive and it's a non-guaranteed contract, which means the money doesn't count towards the books. But Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish, and Christian Wood are all guaranteed. So if the Lakers waive them, that money still counts for the books. So you can't waive somebody and then now sign somebody. You can waive them just to cut to 14, but what's the point? There's no point in doing that. So that's why. Take is that Austin Reaves. All right, this is gonna be the last question. If I get a super chat, I'll answer it. But this is gonna be the last question. Take is that Austin Reaves going undrafted was much more about a design flow in the draft than in any flow he had as a prospect. He didn't want to be picked. He wanted to sign with the Lakers. Yeah, I mean his agent and everybody pushed hard for him to go to Lakers. I mean, Detroit and several other teams were trying to draft him, and he was like, I'm just going to go play overseas. Basically, did what Bronny James did this draft. So, I mean, look, if he would have been a first round pick, then no, I don't think, like, you're not going to see somebody do that unless they're going to be a late second round pick, right? Like, you're not seeing somebody that's a top 15 pick going like, oh, I'm going to go undrafted so I can be a Laker. Like, that's just not going to happen. So I think to an extent it is a design flow, but I don't think it's one that really matters, because more times than not, that's not going to work out. Right? I mean, Austin Reaves is like, he's not only, he's a gem found in a hill of fake gems, right? Like, because he's a guy that, I mean, most undrafted guys, like 99.99% of players, even drafted, become nothing, right? Then you add in undrafted guys, and that's like 1% of 1% of 1%. And then you add in undrafted guys that turn out to be as good as Austin Reaves. I mean, even in a bad year, the guy still gave you 16, 4, and 5 or whatever, right? Like, so again, you're talking 1% of 1% of 1% of 1% of 1%. Like, it's just, it's unheard of. But anyway, like I said, I'm going to skate on out of here. Appreciate you guys so very much. I need to start doing live streams more. I know I need to do that. But yeah, so stay tuned. I need to try to get a schedule together, so I can start doing live streams a little more consistently. But I appreciate you all, like, hanging out with me. Thank you all. Everyone that gave me super chats, thank you so much. Seriously, I really do appreciate it. Helps me out a ton. Everybody that is here, make sure you hit that like button on the way out, please. I know it's a pain, but no, it does. It helps a ton. And subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You people are beautiful, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.